The European Union's recent decision to abandon the provision of next-generation AI is a fatal bug in the operating system of global innovation.
Wait, a fatal bug?
Yes. What we are witnessing is not a triumph of consumer protection. It is the artificial inflation of the survival costs of European citizens by actively blocking the natural global circulation of data and technological resources under the guise of privacy and market fairness. The EU is engineering its own metabolic stagnation.
I have to jump in right there.
Data must flow frictionlessly to optimize the global system.
You are deliberately mischaracterizing a carefully engineered safeguard as a system failure. The EU's regulatory framework, the AI Act, the GDPR, this is our only functional defense against the monopolistic extraction of human data.
It is systemic stagnation.
No, prioritizing data sovereignty and citizen safety over the aggressive expansion of foreign tech conglomerates is just common sense. We are talking about protecting a digital society from being entirely consumed by platforms that structurally view human behavior as raw material. Regulation isn't a bug. It is the necessary operating system update to prevent catastrophic exploitation.
Your defense assumes the EU is engaging in standard market protectionism, which is a severe misdiagnosis of their structural reality.
How is it a misdiagnosis? It's exactly like how the US puts tariffs on foreign automobiles. You protect the domestic manufacturing base. The mechanism has a logical purpose.
That logic exposes a massive void in your comparison. The US uses tariffs to protect existing, fully functioning domestic burger shops from foreign competition. The European Union has absolutely no domestic burger shops of comparable scale.
Well, they have an emerging open source ecosystem.
They possess almost zero domestic infrastructure for massive foundational AI models. No hyperscale cloud providers, no requisite concentrated compute power.
But they have highly competitive AI startups that are beginning to scale. So, startups that are completely
Paralyzed. Instead of protecting a local business, the EU bans the foreign burgers by claiming the specific dimensions of the foreign wrapping paper violates strict new regulatory codes.
The wrapping paper is predatory data harvesting.
They demand transparency reports, deep dive algorithmic risk assessments, and massive compliance audits. Because there is no internal replacement, they're effectively choosing to starve their own citizens to maintain an illusion of control.
Wait, no, starve them? That assumption implies citizens desperately require the specific type of technological junk food currently being forced upon them.
They require the productivity gains of next-gen AI.
But maybe they shouldn't be eating those foreign burgers anyway. Banning them is precisely the mechanism required to create a vacuum. And that vacuum fosters a healthier, locally produced and consumed digital ecosystem. If rejecting the foreign wrapping paper is the only way to ensure the soil remains fertile for something better, then you do it. It is a structural detox.
A detox mathematically requires a secondary source of baseline nutrition, which the EU currently lacks.
It ensures a human-centric design rather than...
It is the behavior of a stubborn husband who fundamentally cannot cook. He stands at the front door confiscating a highly nutritious imported pizza because a delivery driver didn't fill out a 40-page risk assessment.
Oh, come on.
And he forces his family to eat bland, cold tofu, while the outside world actually feasts and evolves. The circulation of technological resources is completely severed.
You are reducing human dignity to a metabolic efficiency metric. The EU is not just throwing arbitrary house rules at the door. They are operating from a foundational principle that values the ecology of the human mind over raw computational throughput.
I reject that framing entirely. It is not an ecology. It is a disguised transfer of survival costs.
Disguised? The transparency requirements you dismiss are forcing developers to map their algorithmic decision trees. By deliberately slowing down AI integration, the EU is making a conscious choice to prioritize the human scale. That is an ethical ecology.
That argument masks a staggering level of historical hypocrisy.
Hypocrisy?
Yes, the friction the regulators demand doesn't actually cost the regulators anything.
The cost is forced entirely onto the citizens. The EU was operating precisely like a wealthy individual sitting in a sprawling penthouse, equipped with state-of-the-art floor heating.
Okay.
Heating that was installed, by the way, using the immense wealth and geopolitical power accumulated in previous industrial eras. From the comfort of this artificially warmed environment, they demand the downstairs neighbors stop using the elevator in order to reconnect with the earth.
That floor heating metaphor entirely ignores how the Brussels effect functions in reality.
It is the aggressive enforcement of a localized inconvenience, masked as a global virtue.
Because they are leveraging their institutional stability to establish global norms. That is what a responsible geopolitical entity should do. By introducing friction locally, the EU successfully exports psychological safety and data protection globally. Someone has to establish a boundary.
They are not establishing a boundary. They are a former landlord paralyzed by the loss of their own infrastructure.
They are protecting consumers.
They are holding on to phantom legacies. Historically, Europe constructed the original architecture of global extraction. They built the original jam factories of the industrial era. But today, the technological orchard is gone. They do not manufacture the silicon. They do not code the dominant foundational models.
Which is exactly why they need to.
Having lost the capability to produce the resources, they attempt to maintain authority by strictly regulating the exact curvature of the spoon that is legally permitted to eat the jam. They are auditing consumption because they have fundamentally lost the capacity to generate innovation.
I'm sorry, I just don't buy that framing at all. Rulemaking is a perfectly valid and technically necessary way to level the playing field.
It is a deeply hypocritical platform strategy.
If the global technological orchard is dominated by two massive monopolies who can crush any nascent competition, the only way to cultivate a new ecosystem is to build a wall and regulate the soil. It forces the giants to slow down, giving local ethical innovation time to catch up.
The EU is functioning as a profoundly slow runner in a global foot race,
A safe runner.
realizing they absolutely cannot keep up with the immense capital expenditure and the hardware speed of the leading athletes. They suddenly leverage their position on the track committee to decree a new law. Effective immediately, all athletes must run on one leg in the name of athletic equity.
Because the leaders of the race are sprinting blindly toward a cliff.
They are disguising their own structural inability to sprint.
They are routinely releasing untested, hallucination-prone systems into the public sphere. Forcing everyone to run on one leg forces them to look at the ground they are stepping on. It forces deliberation and safety protocols before the technology becomes irrevocably embedded.
The hidden agenda is completely obvious. If this so-called ethical slow runner were to secretly invent a revolutionary bicycle in their locker room, say, a massive breakthrough in European quantum computing, their entire moral framework would evaporate overnight.
You can't just assume they would abandon their ethics.
The moment they possessed a proprietary advantage, they would reverse their stance, declare the era of the bicycle, and force the rest of the world to purchase their licensing agreements. It is a desperate attempt to manipulate the rules of a game they are losing, destroying the efficient circulation of global technology.
Look, even if you view their motives with absolute cynicism, the practical output of this regulation is the construction of the safest digital garden in the world. And that intrinsic safety has profound, quantifiable value.
It is a self-destructing device.
Stripping out manipulative algorithms and opaque data scraping is a monumental achievement for societal stability.
It ignores the mechanics of systemic energy waste. Hyper-regulation inevitably consumes its own host.
It is an investment in institutional trust.
It is an apartment building whose management fears impurities so deeply that they install a complex filtration system to block perfectly transparent, clean water. And while the residents are forced to drink mud, the over-engineered filtration system continuously burns out the building's entire power grid, trying to audit the flow of nothing.
Yes, the administrative overhead is high right now, but that is the necessary cost of transitioning from a lawless frontier to a structured ecosystem. When consumers trust the AI, adoption is actually more sustainable.
Institutional trust does not power a stagnant economy. The EU's regulatory apparatus functions exactly like a pristine electric vehicle programmed with ultimate zero-risk safety parameters.
Which we need.
It detects a single falling autumn leaf drifting 3 meters in front of the bumper and immediately registers it as a catastrophic collision risk. It slams on the brakes.
I'd much rather the vehicle stop for a leaf than accelerate through a crosswalk.
To save on processing power, it shuts down the heater and the navigation. It sits perfectly paralyzed in the middle of the highway. The internal computer consumes so much processing power endlessly analyzing the trajectory of the leaf that the battery drains to absolute zero. The vehicle is completely safe because it is entirely dead.
But we cannot simply hand over the keys to corporations whose only logic is exponential growth at any cost. We cannot allow human values, democratic oversight, and privacy to be classified as mere bugs in a system of circular resource flow.
The administrative energy required to maintain this wasteland guarantees the system will collapse.
If we surrender the right to regulate the architecture of our digital lives, we surrender the right to determine what kind of world we actually want to live in. We become nothing more than data points feeding a machine we no longer control.
The current operating system of resource hoarding, regulatory accumulation, and phantom legacies is mathematically failing. Abandoning this broken system and transitioning to true circular capitalism is not a moral choice. It is the only rational investment for survival.